Welcome to Not My Reality. Who Killed Nancy? We're going to go in the Wayback Machine and we're going to take a closer look at the death of Sid Vicious of the punk band Sex Pistols and his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen. While many consider Sid to be guilty of Nancy's murder, others are not so sure. Sid, he gave conflicting reports of what had happened the night Nancy died. The events clouded by a haze of drug use. If you don't have a sense of humor, go. Welcome. Is this my reality? Is this your reality? Support the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. Otherwise, I'm going to send you on the NSYNC reunion tour. You know, Sex Pistols were a boy band too. Kind of. By the mid-1970s, Nancy, she'd moved to New York where she worked as a sex worker, an amateur music journalist, and she did odd jobs at clothing stores around the neighborhood. Most of her money, though, went to following bands like Aerosmith and the New York Dolls. She was basically a groupie. Then, through Johnny Rotten the singer, she met Sid Vicious, who was the bass player for the Sex Pistols in December of 1976. And by the following March, they were living together, shacking it up, as they said back in the day. When the two first met, they were both getting high on the regular, but after they became a couple, they really got serious about their H usage, and of course, they became totally addicted. Now the band were not fans of Nancy, but not many people were. They saw her relationship with Sid and what it was doing to him. Let's be honest, he wasn't the best bass player to begin with. The band saw her as disruptive, violent, and antisocial. Pretty much a cunt. Well, if you're going to use the English vernacular. Just saying. Fast forward to October 1978. On September 12, 1978, Vicious had woken up in his room at about 9:30. He walked to the bathroom and he found Nancy's body on the floor. He immediately phoned for an ambulance, but the hotel called the police. Within hours, Vicious had been charged with second-degree murder. Police assumed that he attacked her while in a drug-induced stupor, then he passed out. At the time of his arrest, Vicious is said to have confessed to police, "I did it because I'm a dirty dog." But subsequently and consistently, when he sobered up, he told police that he'd been unconscious at the time and he really didn't remember anything when Nancy had been stabbed. At the time of her death, police considered the case open and shut, and they charged Vicious with her murder. However, over the years, the case has become less clear-cut and other theories have emerged. The evidence against Sid, it seemed damning. He was known for having violent outbursts, and it was common knowledge that his relationship with Nancy was full of domestic abuse. His knife was also found near the murder scene, and he was so far gone on H when he was arrested, he didn't even know whether he'd done it or not. Now, about the knife real quick. Sid had a knife that he bought, the witnesses say was about 7 inches long. Now, police say the weapon that committed the murder was a 5-inch blade. So, I don't know what they're talking about the knife right there. Sid and Nancy, they were not alone in their hotel room the night that she died. Quite the opposite, in fact. There had been an all-night party in their suite, with many people coming and going, getting high as F. Any of these whacked-out people could have easily attacked Nancy. Where are we going with this? We got a suspect. Allegedly. Rocket's Red Glare. Yep, we all remember from the song, but what the fuck am I talking about here? Listen, if Sid was way too wasted to have done it, and there's all kinds of people coming and going, look, no one liked Nancy, and there were drugs and alcohol adding to the confusion all over the place. Is there a person, or is there a person of interest? Someone else who might have had the opportunity and the motive to end Nancy? And get this part, the same person also gave Sid his lethal overdose of H months later. Allegedly. What am I talking about? Who is this person? Well, it's Rocket's Red Glare. And yeah, you can't make this shit up. Rocket's Red Glare. He was a popular, well-known East Village actor who, in the late 70s, he was a drug addict, a dealer, and he was the bodyguard and the minder of Sid Vicious. And he was known to supply the couple with a lot of H. According to reports, Nancy had accused Red Glare of stealing from the couple not long before her death. And Sid and Nancy, they were known to keep large amounts of money in their rooms. He was even heard boasting about being a murderer at a notorious New York punk bar, CBGB's, not long after her death. The theory is that at 1:30 a.m., Spungen had phoned Red Glare from the room 100 to order drugs and have him bring them to the hotel. Red Glare then had delivered 40 capsules of the lot. After making the drop, it's assumed that Red Glare stayed in the room. Well, evidently, Rocket's Red Glare and some shady characters who he'd been hanging around with decided to steal Sid and Nancy's cash when they nodded off. Now Sid, he was passed out to a massive dose of barbiturates. Nancy, she nodded off on dope, a little bit of the H. That's when Rocket's Red Glare and his accomplice broke into the room. Some accounts say Nancy, she frequently left the door open and left it unlocked due to people coming and going constantly. That's what happens when you're on the H. They broke in, they tried to take the money, but they were caught in the act by Nancy, who, batshit crazy as she was, she attacked them, and unfortunately, she got stabbed as a result. Now, a police report stated that Vicious had taken a large quantity of drugs and was unconscious between 3 and 9 a.m., when Vicious would have been so fucked up on H that he wouldn't even know what was going on, much less be sensible enough to stab anyone. That night, though, the room had been stripped of cash, which the police really didn't make a big deal out of. Now, Red Glare was in the Chelsea Hotel. Witnesses said of the night Spungen died, he was spotted by 2 or 3 people. He was also seen leaving at about 4 in the morning. Follow the timeline, people. Red Glare always denied involvement in the murder. To the press, of course he did, but often it said he confessed to the murder within his circle of friends. So, did the same guy take Sid out also to get rid of the witness? This is wild, people. Vicious, he was released on bail on a condition that he have his treatment for his addiction. Soon after, he was rearrested after a fight in a club. He served 55 days, during which, listen, he received detox treatment which lowered his tolerance to the normal doses of H. Now, on February 2nd, 1979, Vicious celebrated his release party at the flat he shared with a new girlfriend. A new girlfriend? She's doing it already? That don't look too good. His mother, Aunt Beverly, was also at this party. We assumed to keep an eye on him. Then around midnight, Vicious took a little H. He passed out. But 40 minutes later, he came around and he carried on partying, getting his H on, getting more wasted as usual. But the next morning, her mother found her son dead in his bed from an apparent overdose. Guess who else was at the party? Rocket's Red Glare. He was also there, and guess who that night was Vicious's main drug supplier? Yep, good old Red Glare. What a guy. So he could have deliberately provided an exceptionally powerful form of the H to, get rid of Vicious, thereby removing the only potential witness to what he did to Nancy. Allegedly, when Red Glare was obtaining the H for the party, the dealer asked Red Glare, "Where's it going?" And Red Glare said, "Sid Vicious." It was only the next day when the heroin was tested and that they found out it was between 85 and 90% pure. Damn. At that time, street H in New York was cut down to between 32 and 36%. Now, Regulaire died in 2007, and the true story of Nancy's death, it's really never been discovered. It's not like we can ask him. Two young people are dead, and still, all these years later, people have questions. Do we think that Sid and Nancy should have ever been together? No, that's way too much crazy for one couple. Do we know that Sid was kind of a piece of shit, and Nancy was no fucking prize either, and they would regularly beat the living hell out of each other in public? Yeah, and Sid wasn't past hitting a woman either, which I find disgusting. But does that mean Sid ended Nancy with a knife that night in a drug-aided rage? Or was little Sid so fucked up he was basically in a coma? Is it possible Sid was innocent? He didn't end Nancy. He didn't even end himself, but was given super H by the very same person that took his Nancy months earlier. Hey, no witnesses. Case closed. Nothing to see here. What say you? Are we going to just ride with the official story of Sid and Nancy's psychopathic Romeo and Juliet shit they were doing? Or is there more? Is there more to this deadly love story? Was someone else involved? I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Now let's get the fuck out of here. I want to go put on My Way. I'm thinking the Elvis version. Sinatra. I don't know. Just something.